What a week to be alive in the world of politics. This week, three political giants having dates with members of the judiciary. Of course, we know about former President Jacob Zuma. He was up first yesterday, well, should have been, but he's not because he was in hospital, that case being postponed. Today, the suspended ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule is in court, while ANC and State President Cyril Ramaphosa will testify before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. Let's just unpack perhaps those three as quickly as we can with political commentator. It's always a pleasure, Mr. Makhosini Mgiqwa, joining us here on eNCA. Makhosini, morning. It's such a lot to talk about, and yet I'm going to keep us to 5 minutes. So here we go. This is going to be fun. So let's start with the former President Jacob Zuma yesterday. The delay in that trial due to health issues. What do you make of it?
Look, I think it was to be expected. Good morning, and to your viewers. I think it was to be expected if you looked at the history of how President Zuma has conducted himself around this trial. I think many people would be surprised to know that the charges to charge the former president were announced in 2005 by myself. I didn't have any grey hair then. You know, and look at where we are now, and we know when the conclusion of this case. And I think if we look at the history, we can expect further delays because that's his strategy. That's how he does things. For instance, he's going to say that he doesn't want Billy Downer. You know, there may be a ruling that is not favorable for him, and he will litigate that, you know, appeal right up to the Constitutional Court and then start again. So I think that this is a prosecution that is, in my view, will establish one thing, and that is whether he is guilty or not, whether he's guilty, or is convicted or acquitted. But I think if you look at his age and you look at you know, what is emerging now about his health and the appeals and the delays that we're going to have, I don't think that anybody will have an appetite when all of this is concluded to see him going to prison, because I think it would be too old and too frail at that time. So he is sticking to his strategy of making sure that he litigates every issue and appeals every issue right up to the end to make sure that it is as long as possible.
Let me take you and our viewers to Bloemfontein for this next answer on the suspended ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule. We know he'll be appearing in court. What we don't know at this point is the supporters, Makhosini, and that story almost as big as Ace Magashule himself. Who is going to be there to support him from the ANC and who is not? Very telling, isn't it?
Look, he is someone who wants to have support around. I'm sure there will be some support. How big or how influential or how important it's going to be, we'll have to wait to see. But there will be people who will be at court. That's how he does things. And I think he derives, you know, strength out of that, and to show his political opponents that he does have support. But that does not help him inside court. And I think that, you know, that's what he would want to concentrate on, to make sure that you know, he has the best legal representation and he sticks to what, you know, his lawyers advise him to do and to say, because, you know, court matters are not won outside court, they're won inside.
And then the big one, of course, today, and it's difficult to imagine how one man can wear two hats in such important roles at the State Capture Inquiry. One is as ANC President, the other is as the State President, to the point where, Makhosini, it's almost having to be two different testimonies for Cyril Ramaphosa. How does he balance this, and what do you think we're going to hear from Cyril Ramaphosa as ANC President and then two as State President? And do you imagine they can be two different ways of thinking?
Look, we'll have to wait and see, and I'm glad I'm not Cyril Ramaphosa, because I think the interest of the Commission is in him when he was Deputy President of the Republic and also Deputy President of the ANC, and now him having to look back as the sitting president of the country and the ANC. It's going to be very difficult. We've got an election that's coming in a few months' time, and he has to balance all that. He cannot go there and almost throw the ANC under the bus. He cannot throw that brand under the bus, because he would want to dust off that brand in a few weeks' time, in a few months' time, so that the ANC can be able to win elections and win back some metros and swing districts that it lost in the previous election. And remember that he is going to be held accountable if the ANC performs badly. So it's going to be very difficult. Also, he doesn't want to come out in the Commission as someone who is not open, as someone who's not taking the nation into his confidence. So it's a very difficult balancing act that he's had to do, because the ANC is almost overtaken by corruption. It's very difficult to get an ANC leader who's not impacted or touched in any way by corruption allegations. So he has to go there, stick to his message of saying that the ANC takes responsibility for what has happened, take responsibility for the fact that the ANC itself has gotten involved in state capture and all sorts of things, but at the same time, not damage that brand to the extent that it cannot win elections.
It's going to be a very, very interesting day. I'm not too sure what to watch on eNCA and eNCA.com, but for the moment, always a pleasure to have you with us, political commentator Mr. Makhosini Mgiqwa, joining us on eNCA. We, of course, know that yesterday the former president's trial was postponed, that court case, but then today ANC Secretary-General suspended Ace Magashule and the ANC President and State President Cyril Ramaphosa. Both of those, by the way, live here on eNCA and also live streaming on eNCA.com. Going to be a busy day.